Bitcoin has slowly been trending up into yet another potential trap, which is why I wanted to make this urgent warning for you all in today's YouTube video, because I think that a lot of people again are about to potentially get very screwed in the market. And I just want to draw your memory back literally like 2 days ago to where the last time that I was warning you guys about Bitcoin potentially being in a relief rally was right here, as Bitcoin was trending down and then starting to slowly move up as a reaction to that move down before getting that big smack down and getting a really quite vicious sell-off. And we're now getting the same thing. If we take a look at the fear and greed index and we look at what we were seeing just from yesterday, we actually managed to drop down to a reading of 21, which is the first time that Bitcoin's that the crypto market in quite a long time, right? I mean, since the beginning of October, actually not that long, has been in extremely fearful territory. And this is after just yesterday being neutral. So you're really starting to see how polarized the market is right now, how delicate people's emotions are and things like that in this market. And again, in response to that extreme fear, we're getting a small move up. And, you know, the last time I was telling you guys about this just over here, I was warning you guys that this means people are going to be feeling more relief. At the moment, they're very scared, right? The very next day, look, I can't make this up. It's way too obvious. The very next day right here, we started feeling a bit of relief and then we dropped. We started feeling a bit of relief and then we dropped. These are called relief rallies for a reason. And to make it worse, Bitcoin is right now in a little bit of a kind of rising wedge pattern that I want to outline for you. So take a look at this. It's a small one, right? It's not actually super obvious. In fact, I have to zoom in quite close. Let me take a look at which time frame I'm supposed to be showing you. Actually, 1 hour is fine, but we'll just stick to the 15-minute for now. And you can start to see how actually Bitcoin has been in a potential rising wedge pattern that looks a little bit like this, just showing us that we have kind of slowly been angling upwards. I think a pattern drawn a little bit more like this would be more accurate. And look, I mean, Bitcoin can pump out of this and then trade upwards like that, and it wouldn't really matter, right? The whole point is that Bitcoin is just kind of slowly making a move to the upside right now in response to a dump. And not only are we doing something which is, I mean, this is, when I talk about staircase patterns, look, those of you who watch this channel a lot are really going to understand a lot of what I'm saying. And if you're not already subscribed, I don't know what the hell you're doing. You're missing out on so much great level-headed and grounded TA. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button and like the video if you find these videos to be useful. This is the classic kind of staircase pattern step that we will generally see, where we make a move down, we form a little bit of a step, and we draw down again. And one of the key signs that we can use to tell us if we're actually in one of those patterns is actually just looking at the volume. And I'm going to drop a few lines here. Look at the chart right here. I'm going to show you when the dump initiates, when the dump ends, and then pretty much right to where we are at the moment. And just actually to keep this fun and interesting, I'll show you when the last dump ended as well. And you're going to start to notice something very, very obvious, right? When we're actually in the dump and we're moving down and Bitcoin's setting new local lows in this market, which is what we were doing over here just around the middle of November, which was now about 10 days ago. Volume was actually fairly high, right? Here we were looking at the 15-minute time frame, and this is a very good time frame to analyze this because you can see very close movements. As soon as the dump stopped, we started to form a reaction rally, which inevitably didn't end up holding. And look at the volume, right? We lost so much volume in the market. Volume was really trending down. Just focus on the orange line. This is the average of the volume that we saw. And then again, look at the volume when we're moving down over here, right? Market's moving down and volume really escalating until the dump stops and volume falls off a cliff, and it's just gradually been angling lower and lower and lower, which is showing us that the market is really only responding to down price action at the moment, even when we make the equivalent move up, right? Bitcoin on this leg up and then the following leg down to the same price action, look at the volume. There's no volume that's being exchanged over here, but on the way down, there is, right? This is really showing us that the true price action at the moment could, and nothing is definite, guys. I need you to really let go of these ideas where things are definite or guaranteed to happen, or, you can really with a strong sense predict what's going to, you can't. It's all probabilities. But what we are looking at here is that people are generally not responding to this small upward price action, while we are already in what you and I know as logical, serious, traders who actually, really respect our money. As people like that, we understand what this price action could be, which is another potential leg down in an existing downtrend, right? We lost crucial support when we dropped below roughly $56,000 right here. I know you can't see the price, but we did lose crucial support, and we set a brand new low at about $53,500. By the way, I told you guys I was in a short position, and it moved beautifully. I managed to take profits close to the bottom. It has now been stopped out in a profit, so I closed the whole position with a profit, which moved very, very nicely. I was telling you guys about it inside of 4Fly's VIP, so you did unfortunately miss it if you weren't already in. And guys, we are running the biggest percentage discount we've ever run on 4Fly's VIP to date. It is minus 68% off. It is ridiculous. And if you want to get in, the steps to join are on screen right now. You have to take advantage of it if you've been considering this for a while. And the discount ends in my time zone in 2 hours. We're running it until midnight. I know a lot of you are probably not going to see the video until then, so if you're a little bit late, it's fine. Message me anyway, and we'll get you in with that very same discount of minus 68%. Once it ends, it is over, and the only way to join VIP will be back at full prices. We've been doing very, very well in this market as it was moving down, protecting our capital and in fact growing it as well. So I'm very, very happy to see how this has moved. Really very, very impressive what's been going on. Take a look at some of the results that we saw in this market over these recent trading periods. 121% profit right here, 109% profit on Ethereum, 53% on Bitcoin, 116% on a coin that I don't know about, and then 240% on Ethereum. Again, I mean, very, very impressive moves. We are not just trading the major coins like Bitcoin, but also trading some of the smaller coins like Shiba. You guys know that I made a huge profit on Shiba recently as well. But of course, there are times where I lose money, and the deal with VIP is you see absolutely everything, including the reasoning of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And when I do something bad, for example, I will identify what I've done bad, because that's what any normal, healthy trader should be doing. And I'll tell you how I'm improving my strategy next time. And then when next time comes around, I'll tell you the specific changes I'm making in response to my previous fuck-ups or my previous victories. So it is an extremely hands-on experience. You're seeing exactly what I'm trading, why I'm trading it, all in real time, along with my analysis and VIP breakdown videos of my trades and so on. It's a really, really in-depth package, and if you want it, all you got to do is click on the first link in the description down below, then the @4Flies button, and then on the send message. You literally only have a matter of hours left for the biggest discount we have ever ran for Black Friday. So go ahead and take advantage of it. But bringing us back to the chart now, because this is a very, very juicy video. See, the thing is we have lost critical support right here, just setting a brand new swing low at the moment. And one of the key things I was talking to you guys about in one of my recent videos, probably my most recent video, is actually that Bitcoin needs to come down to find real substantial support in this range right here, right? When we lose big areas of support, which, you know, I think $60,000 right here was a big area of support, that means we've got to come down to find the next big area of support. And nobody was open to those kind of ideas. It felt like it was only me talking about it. I'm sure that other people were on YouTube, but most people just couldn't be open to this idea. And that, you know, to me alone was a potential sign that, you know, the market was going to be dropping. But if you take a look at, you know, if we lose a strong area of support, we need to find the next strong area of support. If you take a look at where that could be, I'm looking at $53,000, and we basically came down to that level already. I showed you guys this box in my most recent video, and Bitcoin has now fallen into it. So as far as I'm concerned, this correction could be over now. If we look at the large time frames with the daily Ichimoku cloud, we've now fallen pretty nicely into the Ichimoku cloud, where we should definitely be expecting a lot of support, in my opinion. But of course, the problem remains that, well, if Bitcoin rises back up, it's going to have a lot of resistance, right? Because, you know, $60,000, in my opinion, was a strong area of support. It was a pretty strong area of resistance in this market previously as well. If I actually draw this a little bit more accurately, this is bang on at $60,000. Look at that. And you can see that the market saw, you know, quite a few rejections around here. It saw a little bit of support. It saw its, you know, one of its biggest rejections ever in terms of dollar amount crashes, and, you know, one of its bigger rejections ever in terms of percentage crashes as well. just off this line. So 60k, extremely important level, and seeing how it acted as resistance, I am concerned about it rising back up. But before I even talk about that, you know, obviously I will talk about why I might be wrong. That's always a part of my analysis, because if I didn't do that, I would be an irresponsible trader. I would be an irresponsible analyst, and it just wouldn't be good for any of us. But I do have to talk to you more about why I'm still kind of leaning on the bearish side, and it is just because I'm not seeing the signs of a reversal, right? If this trend was actually gonna get ready to flip and be a little bit more bullish, I think we would be seeing more explosive bounces than what we have right now, right? This is just quite a slow, I mean, I want to go as far as calling it pathetic, because it almost is, to be fair, because when you look at how big this drop was, and then you look at the reaction, this is like you know, a fucking, I don't know, like a 10-year-old girl banging on the chest of her dad because she's not buying her the Barbie doll. Like, this is the level of insignificance in terms of significance that Bitcoin is painting, in my opinion, right now. Like, it's really not something super interesting at all. And again, when you consider that, you know, from my perspective, from what I've just told you about how this is a classic staircase step, how I was warning you that this previous move right here was another classic staircase step. These are things that I was right about in this market, telling you guys about very vocally, that I was saying if we drop down here and we consolidate at the $60,000 support area, which is what we did, we're probably going to drop. And then we dropped here, and I told you guys that if we end up trading sideways, we're probably going to be in a bear flag, so we're probably going to drop. I'm just using the same analysis that's already succeeded, right? If it's working, don't fix it, right? It's working right now. This is a classic Bitcoin bear trend where we trade downwards, we form a reaction rally, or we trade sideways, which is what we did just in this range above us right here. You guys who are subscribed will know all about that. So shout out to those of you who are clicking that like button and already subscribed to this YouTube channel. I love you all very much. We're in something very similar right now, and you know, I mean, this can go one of many ways. Bitcoin can enter another sideways trading range, which looks a little bit like this, but that doesn't change the fact that we're still in a downtrend, so our bias is still going to be to the downside. But of course, you know, well, actually not, but on top of that, one of the other things to consider, of course, is the resistance, because there's still resistance in this market, and as Bitcoin trades to these lower levels, resistance is going to keep getting closer and closer to Bitcoin. So on the 1 hour time frame right now, if Bitcoin manages to rise back up to its prior support area at about $55,500, we're going to encounter resistance right there. Its real support area was probably at about $56,000, and if Bitcoin manages to go there now, which is about $1,000 higher from where it is right now, it's really not that far away. That's like 2%, right? Take a look at this. Let me just measure this. Yeah, it's about 1.8% move. It's not much. If Bitcoin manages to hit it, we're going to have 1 hour Ichimoku clouds, the 1 hour Ichimoku cloud acting as resistance. On a larger time frame, resistance is now right in this range. This is what I was warning you guys about, guys. Each time we lose a level, that level will become resistance. So even if Bitcoin managed to gather a lot of strength, look at how bloody massive this area of resistance is for Bitcoin. It stretches up 7.5%. Absolutely huge. Previously, the resistance area was only stretching up by 5%. This is a 40% increase in size compared to before, showing us that resistance has gotten stronger for Bitcoin. Really, I think it's going to be difficult for Bitcoin to break this kind of resistance. I just don't see it being an easy ride. And you know, it goes the opposite when we're in an uptrend, right? You guys know that when we're trending upwards and the trend is looking healthy, I'll tell you that. This is not me being a perma bear. This is just me trying to position myself in the market in a place where I don't get slaughtered. Guys, there's something really important I want to talk to you all about right now, which was taught to me by Crypto Kirby, who is one of my favorite analysts and traders of all time that I've ever learned from. And he does make YouTube videos. He's been a little bit inactive recently, but he does also make YouTube videos. And one of the key things he told me, which is not actually his saying, he just told it to me, and it's the first time I ever heard it, is that in these markets, bulls make money, bears make money, the pigs, the people who can't decide what they want to do, who have massive opinions and feelings in the market, the pigs get slaughtered. Let me repeat that. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. My question to you, are you a pig? That's what it comes down to. Because if there's emotion running around in your head, if for some reason you can't bring yourself to make money when the market's going down, and you can't even bring yourself to make money when the market's going up, you're one of the pigs. You're just going to get slaughtered. This means the people who are in the middle that don't know what the fuck they're doing, they're going to be the ones that lose their money. I am not trying to be one of those people, which is why you see me making money on the way down and making money on the way up. Like I said, 68% off for VIP right now for the next few hours. If you are a little bit late, we'll still allow it. So just jump in as soon as you see this video. Ask for details on how to join Forflies VIP. And if you're not sure about it, ask for a phone call. You can speak to a member of the team or even potentially myself. And I try to be there for the calls. I don't always join. And if you want to hear more about the details of VIP, you can even do that. So we can see if you would be a good fit for VIP. But just looking at the resistance here, like I said, look at this. The Ichimoku resistance just really, in my opinion, not printing an amazing picture for Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. And if we look at it on the daily time frame, like I said, there is still a lot of support, but just as soon as we zoom in a little bit, it's not looking great. And then take a look at the resistance, right? The resistance on the 1-day time frame, it's high up, right? We're not close to it, but you're getting all of the crossovers happening right now. What is a crossover? Well, you would know that if you watch my Forflies EMA video, so please type this into the YouTube search bar now to watch my EMA video by myself. This is a free tutorial that I gave you guys on how to get this indicator and how to use it, and it is extremely popular. A lot of you guys loved it. Please watch that video. But if you didn't get a chance to, very briefly, an EMA crossover is when these brighter color lines cross below the darker color lines, basically showing us that the short-term trend, because the brighter colors are the shorter-term lines, it's showing us that the short-term trend is flipping to become bearish. We're basically losing momentum when compared to the longer-term trend, and so this is a sign that the market is seriously turning bearish right now. Now, that doesn't have to be the end of the world, right? I mean, we got a full crossover right here. Actually, not quite a full crossover, but very close to seeing a full crossover right here, and the market went bullish again. So this is not the end of the world, but look, it is a sign that things are potentially about to turn really bad in the market. And if we look at this on the 4-hour time frame, and we really already got that flip a long time ago. You know, sometimes we get a lot of flips when there's no spread. Again, you would know what this means if you've watched that video, but most recently, the crossover happened over here at around a price of about $60,000. So that's where you would have known on the 4-hour time frame that we're bearish. And, you know, I mean, pretty much each time we hit this ribbon, bam, look at that, rejected. And small fake out right here, but still pretty much a rejection. And then moving back down, reminding us all of our days in high school right here, because I think Bitcoin could be looking at potentially getting another rejection right there from this resistance ribbon, you know, which could again send it quite low. I mean, take a look at this. Some of the times where we got a rejection from these ribbons. Let's measure this one right here. Bitcoin drops by a further 5%. From this rejection, which was quite large, Bitcoin drops by 7%. So let's say we hit this line and we drop by another 5%. That would put us at the bottom of the range. Or if we hit the line over here and we drop by about 7%, that's going to then put us towards $52,000. So please keep that in mind, how Bitcoin could actually be encountering some resistance here and what those rejections could potentially look like. And then on the 1-hour time frame, which is a very short-term time frame, we're already in the resistance. So I'm not too worried about this, but I think that we are starting to see on these small time frames that, you know, Bitcoin has actually tried to rally up. Right here, it managed to set a double bottom, which is very impressive. But now it's just constantly getting rejections, right? Look at this, really constantly getting rejections. Now, if we zoom in, it's actually not that bad. It looks more like a kind of ascending triangle pattern. So short term, this doesn't look too bad. But the issue is, like, if it breaks out, because typically that's what these things do, is they break out. It's showing you that you're keeping the same ceiling, but the floor is getting more bullish. People are not waiting as much to buy Bitcoin because they're excited. So we are potentially seeing, you know, a reversal sign. Not only did we get a double bottom, but we're now in an ascending triangle. So I'm not ignoring this. This is we're just breaking down below it right now. But this is definitely quite bullish. But again, my only problem with this stuff is that if you look at where the breakout could take us, it's only going to take us right up into resistance. I mean, you know, that's why I find this to be potentially a little bit scary. But if we consider the longer term perspective of just Bitcoin recovering back up, again, I mean, look, I think that one of the good things that will happen, right, is if Bitcoin manages to break this 56k level and re-enter this range, we should be able to find support here. So even if Bitcoin breaks above this level and hits this level at 60k and gets rejected, we're probably still going to be able to find support here and then tackle 60k again. And if we fail again, we're still going to have support here, so we might be able to hit it again. And the more times we hit this level, the more likely we are to finally get that breakout. And then each time we get one of those breakouts, we're going to enter a new range where, you know, previously $60,000 was quite a fierce area of resistance, as you can see over here, as I was pointing out to you guys continuously on this YouTube channel when nobody wanted to believe me. Shout out to those of you who were watching those videos. I saw all of you commenting saying that you saw those warnings and you were able to heed them and use them to your advantage. You were able to protect yourself from losses and things like that. That is absolutely amazing. What we're going to see if Bitcoin manages to break this level is that it can potentially flip and turn into support, which can allow it to break the next area of resistance, which will be, in my opinion, at about $63,000 to $64,000. And now that we've seen such a, I mean, this is a fairly substantial correction. Look at it from the all-time high down to the low that we just set today, minus 22%. The last correction that we got, just want to remind you guys, was minus 24%, 23%. So we're now at a really good point in the market where I think, you know, in my opinion, Bitcoin has, you know, done enough to reset itself. If we look at this on the 1-day time frame and zoom in a little bit right here and then throw in the Ichimoku cloud, you know, not only did we fall into a potentially quite important support range, and actually let me just draw this line back to show you how significant this area has been, right? This is not just me drawing a random box. Bitcoin has actually used this level quite well in this market to find support and resistance. Take a look at this. I just want to oh my bad, I just want to bring us on a slightly shorter time frame so we can see this with a little bit more accuracy. Look at this on the 4-hour time frame, right? Bitcoin initially actually sets an all-time high right here and enters with that staircase pattern, enters a little bit of a staircase step right there and then takes its next leg up. It then establishes a new all-time high at 56 and then 57.4, and look at where it crashes down to. It gets a bounce right here, a very quick bounce off this level and sets a brand new all-time high. Then on the way back down, we fall below this level. Look at where we find resistance at this very same box. Resistance again and again, but then support and then support and then support and then resistance. Like, it's just constantly flipping. Like, this box, this green box right here, this faint green box actually was very, very important in the market, and it keeps going. It's actually a very, very important level all the way until the end, when Bitcoin eventually gets a big crash downwards, right? So an extremely important price level for the market, stretching between $52,500 and $54,000, which Bitcoin has just now dropped into. And to me, that paints a very hopeful image. My only problem with this, and I mean only, my only problem with this is that we haven't seen a very strong reaction of what should have been an important support level. So that's where things, you know, when I zoom out and, you know, like I said earlier, one of the key things Bitcoin needs in these kind of circumstances, it needs to drop down to key levels of support when we've already lost other key levels of support. So the most recent key level of support that we lost was $60,000 in my opinion, and I've told you all why. The next significant area of support was right here. So it could just very well be that, you know, Bitcoin, for example, gets to rally up to about $56,000, kind of like what I'm saying, gets a strong rejection back down, falls back to this level, and then sets a double bottom, forms a bit of a, you know, classic W shape in the market, and then starts rallying up again. I mean, really, that would make a lot of sense in this market right now. I'm just looking right now to kind of switch my bias. The market has entered extremely fearful territory. People are going to become a lot more fearful in this market if we stay down at these levels. People are going to stop trying to go long on Bitcoin. They're going to stop trying to buy Bitcoin. They're going to try to start selling it and going short and so on. And you guys know me, I don't want to be on the same side as everybody else. And so I am now looking for reasons to become bullish, but I just don't see them yet, because even though we fell down to an important level, with what strength did we react to that with? Nothing that I can see. It might mean that we need to sweep that low and drop a little bit lower, perhaps down to 53 on the dot, maybe 52,000. You know, I'm not talking about big moves. I think the big move is done now, and just perhaps penetrate this support cloud a little bit more. before potentially, finally finding our support and then starting a next leg up, which would be such a healthy correction in this market. I mean, it really would. Look at how strong this rally was. Look at how strong the correction was. Look at how strong this rally is or was, and look at how strong the correction was. And it just makes perfect sense that we move back up in line with the very same staircase pattern theory that I never bloody shut up about, where we get fairly significant pullbacks, but they're not a big deal, and we just keep moving up. And actually, for those of you who are Elliott Wave fanboys, I don't talk about this often because I am not an Elliott Wave fan, but you are going to see that what I've just described perfectly fits in with Elliott Wave theory, which is basically where you have one big move in the market in the anticipated direction, followed by a wave 2 right there, wave 2, which corrects the trend, followed by a wave 3, which is the single biggest wave in the trend, and then a wave 4, which corrects the trend, and then we form a final wave 5 before potentially reversing, and then we typically actually see an Elliott wave correction, an Elliott correctional wave, which might look perhaps something a little bit, like this, where we form quite a large correction, and then the whole idea of it is that we form the next Elliott wave pattern that looks a little bit like that. Now look, I don't talk about this because I don't like this theory, and I don't think it's accurate, and I don't think it's reproducible, but in this case it actually makes a lot of sense. I gotta say it, I gotta put my hands up and just tell you guys that straight up. This first rally moving up by $23,500, and this second rally moving up by $28,000. So like I said, the second to third wave is usually the biggest. The third wave is usually the biggest wave in any Elliott wave formation. So this actually fits in with it. And that shows us that actually wave 5 might not be that big, right? So maybe wave 5 only rises up by, I don't know, let's say, $25,000, putting us at about 76K would make a lot of sense, for a potentially final target before we enter another big drop. Like I said, I mean, look, I don't think this is a very good theory to be applying to the markets, but I know that they're very popular, and it makes sense if Bitcoin were to form something like this right now. So that's why I want to bring it over to your attention. If we look at the altcoin market as well, I want to take a quick glance at this. Ethereum has managed to recover a lot of its strength. It's now just kind of consolidating at resistance, which is neither here nor there, not a good thing, not a bad thing. Swissborg taking a small drop down after approaching some resistance that I had drawn in this line, but I don't want to talk about Swissborg today. Cardano is still at a beautiful level. It's actually just bounced off the key buy level I was telling you guys about, and is seeing a nice little bounce right here, but I do think it's going to penetrate this level a little bit more. And then, I mean, the other shitcoins not doing too amazingly either. Ethereum, I think, very much just at the mercy of Bitcoin. It is also in a bit of a downtrend, potentially in a bear flag before taking another leg down. That's just going to happen when these markets are in these kind of patterns, and so I think a lot of this is just largely going to be waiting on seeing what happens with Bitcoin right here. And of course, it's a very, very volatile time in the market, right? If you are trading this right now, you're going to know about that, and if you don't know where to trade, or you want to trade on the place that I'm using, Bybit is that place. So check out the link in the description down below, because when you sign up using my link to Bybit and then make your first deposit, you're going to get up to $3,500 completely free of charge as a thank you for using my referral link. Of course, if you want to be able to see how I'm trading and get everything, and I really do mean everything that I do, then click on the first link in the description down below. Then click on the @4flies button at the bottom of any post inside of 4flies Gold, and then click on send message to ask me how to join 4flies VIP, and I will give you all of that information right now. If I can't message you, my assistants will, and we have assistants around the clock on my account, so you're always going to get a response within like 5 to 10 minutes. So definitely make sure that you reach out for those steps with the biggest discount we've ever done. And I haven't actually spoken about this too much, but I want to just take a quick minute to run you guys through exactly what you're getting. I'm not going to go through absolutely everything, but some of the key things that I think are really cool, which I never even mentioned here, are the weekly summaries that you get on the altcoins that I'm trading, because like I said, it is not just Bitcoin. I also trade altcoins, so I tell you what I'm seeing in those markets, what I might want to trade, why I haven't decided to yet, because you'll see when you watch me trading, one of the best ways you can extract value from the Forflies VIP group is really paying close attention to the reasons why I don't enter trades, because you're going to notice that I might identify, for example, I'm just taking a random number, I might identify 20 trading opportunities in 1 week, but I might only execute 2 of them. And the reason for that will almost always be because the other 18 just didn't look good enough to me, and I'm only taking the best of the best of the best so that I can keep my money safe. I think what a lot of people forget as traders is that the primary objective must be to protect your money. And it doesn't matter whether your bankroll is $4,000 or $400 or 4 million or 40 billion. It doesn't change. The primary objective is always to protect your capital, because if you lose it, not only are you going to be fighting an uphill battle trying to recover it, right? You guys already know the math if you've been watching me for a while. A 50% loss needs you to double your money, a plus 100% gain. You need to make plus 100% to recover a 50% loss. So not only are you fighting an uphill battle financially, mathematically, but you're also going to be fighting an uphill battle psychologically up here, because you're going to feel like shit. So very, very important to keep in mind. You lose 10%, you have to recover 11 to break even. You lose 20%, you have to recover 25% to break even. It's always harder to climb back up, so just don't fuck it up in the first place. That's always my perspective. And if you can't do that, if you don't get that right, one analogy that I thought of just today is actually, if you get this wrong and you're not able to protect your capital before, losing it, this is the level of importance that I think this has. Is it's like, let's say you are the captain of a ship that's transporting, expensive goods across the ocean. Your primary objective would be making sure that the ship doesn't have a leak in it. Because if the ship has a leak and the ship is going to sink, you can't do anything else. That is the basis with which you need to act. You need to act and do everything else. If that one thing is wrong, nothing else matters. Now, in reality, this isn't quite like sailing a ship, because ships don't leak that often and they don't sink that often, so you don't really need to worry about it. But as a trader, you're under a much more direct and continuous threat of your ship sinking, and if your ship is sinking, you're not fucking going anywhere. So you need to keep that in mind, and I think a lot of people lose perspective of that when they get their lottery tickets and their dollar signs in their eyes, just hoping and dreaming and wishing without having a good strategy. This is it. This is where you can fix that and really adopt something a lot healthier. There's a lot more that you're going to get. Extremely detailed posts and everything that I'm doing, and also one of the key things I want to outline for those of you who are interested in our annual membership and our yearly membership. This is our top package. You're going to get free access into my $2,700 Advanced Forflies Academy trading course, which teaches you everything I know about about trading and analysis from A to Z. You're going to get free access. Everyone in VIP gets free access to my psychology product, where I tell you about I tell you about key lessons that I learned in my trading journey about managing the psychology of trading and key strategies that I take. You all get it completely free of charge. But what annual members get, which is unique, is also phone calls with me. So if you literally want to get on the phone with me, we can talk about what you're doing. And, I'm not your financial advisor, so I won't tell you what to do, and I won't even give you advice in those ways. But I can definitely see where I can help you out with those things. And that has been massively, massively successful for everyone that's ever done it. And one of the key things to keep in mind actually is that one of the strategies that I have with our annual members, my favorite strategy, is that as soon as you take that annual membership, which can be literally like in 10 minutes from watching this video, you are going to be able to schedule a phone call with me the very next day. I keep my calendar open for you guys, and we can talk about your trading strategy. You can show me what you've done in the past. I will give you my comments and my thoughts and so on. You can tell me about what you're thinking and whatever comes off that. And almost every single time every single time I've been able to give really, really good feedback on what's going on and potential action points, just things to consider to improve your results, whether that means cutting off losses or maximizing winnings and so on like that. And then we can follow up on that, perhaps after a month or after 3 months, 6 months, whenever you feel comfortable. Anytime you request a call, it's literally on a day's notice for our annual members. That's just how we've kept it. We don't actually advertise this, but I'm going to tell you now because I'm 33 minutes into this video, so I know nobody's listening unless you're a very, very diehard fan. We only advertise one call, but you can get as many as you want. I mean, literally whenever you want. And the reason that we don't cap those calls is because so far nobody has ever abused that, you know. And obviously getting an annual membership inside of Forflies VIP is not cheap, so you've got to be someone very serious to take advantage of it. And if you are, you probably wouldn't be abusing it either. So nobody's abused it so far. If someone does, I'll put a cap on it, but right now theoretically it is unlimited, and I've never actually turned down a call. So please take advantage of that if you think that would be useful to you. That is my favorite thing to do. I love to get on the phone with you guys, but of course I can't do it for absolutely everybody because VIP does have a lot of people. We're right now sitting at about just over 1,250 people inside of Forflies VIP, and that's why we keep the annual membership very, very exclusive. But if that sounds good to you, then definitely go ahead and take that leap. But with that, I am going to have to sign off. Very, very long video. Thank you all for tuning in with me on this one. And if you have enjoyed it, you know what to do. Smash up the likes, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.